Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we are talking Naturium skincare, a brand which celebrates its 2-year anniversary this month and will soon to be launching here in the UK and Europe. I want to take a deeper dive behind this brand, see what's happened in the last 24 months that has caused it to go from one of the most disastrous launches in skincare history through to one of the fastest growing skincare brands on the planet. Did we all just forget what went on, or are the formulations so good that people are willing to look past it? We're going to pick it all apart today, so sit back, relax, let's talk all things Naturium skincare. Now, before we get into this video, I would love to know your own thoughts, feelings and opinions when it comes to this brand. Have you tried any of their products? What outcomes did you get? Sound off in the comments section below. Here on Mad About Skin, I'm never about telling you guys what brands you should and shouldn't shop with. It all comes down to personal choice. And in skincare, I always say use what works for you, which is why I'd love to get an open conversation going in the comments section so we can kind of explore the diversity of opinions when it comes to this brand. I personally don't shop with them, but that is my own decision and it's not something that I would encourage you guys to do. I'd like everyone to be as informed as possible so they can all make the best decision for them as a consumer. Hopefully, whatever your thoughts and feelings on Naturium, you want to reach down and give this video a big thumbs up and a like. This is a fantastic way of supporting me in the channel because the more likes the video gets, the more widely YouTube distributes it on its platform. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. Now I've got a lot to say because like I say, a lot has happened in that 24-month period. So let's cut that waffle and delve straight on in. And we do kind of have to start at that failed launch. Now, I don't want to go into this in too much detail because I feel like it has been covered quite extensively here on YouTube in the past, and I'll link some videos that I did on it like a year and a half ago in the description box below. But I don't think it would be fair to look at this 24-month period that's elapsed without first touching on this. So, Naturium is a brand which was co-founded by Sunan Yara, who's like one of the OG content creators in the skincare space here on YouTube. She had a huge fan base and was really well respected for her recommendations and her approach to skincare. I was an ultimate fan, so when she announced that she was launching her own brand, I was all in on it, as was I think a lot of the skincare community. People were really excited for the products, and when she spoke about them, people were really like, yes, this is a brand that I could definitely buy into. That positive sentiment lasted about 2 hours, and then people started to say, hey, haven't we heard of this brand already? Hasn't Susan Yara already mentioned this brand that she's claiming to launch for the first time today? And then, of course, people started looking through the videos and found that actually in the past 2 months, Susan Yara had been recommending Naturium as though it was a brand she'd never even heard of before, saying things like, this brand Naturium, they sent me this package in PR and honestly I'm already getting great results from the products. I totally recommend their vitamin C. It's the best formulation I've ever found, without actually saying, and actually I own the brand, co-created it and formulated a lot of these products myself. The whole thing was like cringe 101, and honestly, like I'd say it was up there in that year's cringiest moments, alongside the likes of like Ellen DeGeneres when she was crying in her LA mansion saying it felt like a prison with the restrictions from the you-know-what pandemic. That, alongside the Susan Yara thing, was like 2 cringe moments that really stick out in my mind. Also, this came with an awful lot of legal implications as well, because when you're a content creator, you know, people do put their faith in you and your recommendations, and you have a duty, both in an ethical way, but also in terms of a legal way, of actually disclosing your affiliations with any of the brands mentioned. Were you sponsored by them? Do you own them? And so, of course, they also had those legal implications too. This just instantly turned everyone off the brand and said, yeah, just no. This is a firm pass. I think we had an apology, which has since been deleted, which I think is a shame. If you're going to apologise, you need to just keep that video up, in my opinion. But that kind of, you know, I think won some people around, and the brand did sell a good few units on launch, but a lot of people, myself included, decided they wanted nothing more to do with it. You saw very few content creators talk about this brand. I think they didn't want to be like directly associated with Susan Yara, with the brand, and all that had gone on before, and rightly so. If you work hard to disclose everything in terms of your YouTube content, and you see a content creator doing that, it does kind of stick in your craw a little bit, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to move aside, even though I think I had like 2,000 subscribers at the time. Now, beyond a whole lot of damage limitation, not a lot really happened in the 6 months after that launch. And then the product launches started to ramp right up. We started to have a new product every 2 weeks. Susan Yara, who was front and center of the brand, was advertising it on her YouTube channel. She was in a lot of the promo material. And this was a brand that really went into hyper overdrive. They started to be stocked in physical stores. I think it was Sephora that first stocked it, though I could be wrong on that. And you definitely were able to walk into drugstores and get your hands on the products alongside some of the more luxury and high-end brands too. You also saw at this point that conveyor belt of products just kept coming and coming and coming. I got the impression that they kind of wanted to bamboozle us with launches, so the more we saw of the brand, the less we'd remember that launch was still front and center in a lot of people's mind. You still didn't really see a lot of content creators referencing the brand in a positive way, and that's something that to this day you still don't really see a lot of. I think people are wary of this brand and going anywhere near it because of the past associations. I totally understand that. This is where I think a lot of the growth started in the brand. At that 1 year point, you started to see it in physical stores, which meant a lot of people beyond just the YouTube fan base could try the products out for themselves and honestly fell in love with the formulations. Like I said, some of those formulations are good, so I think word of mouth started to work in this brand's favor, which saw those sales grow and grow and grow. Which is kind of how we got to where we are today at this 2-year anniversary point. From a brand which had one of the shadiest and dodgiest launches in skincare history to one of the fastest growing skincare brands currently. Considering that Susan has a fraction of the overall subscriber base of someone like Hiram, this is a brand that definitely outsells the Selfless by Hiram brand. Now, of course, they have a whole lot more product, but also they just shift those volumes. Allegedly, one of their niacinamide serums is sold every single minute globally, and this is just demonstrative of the volumes that this brand can shift. How did they achieve all of this in 2 years? Was it that people were willing to just look past that launch, or was it a case of maybe we just all forgotten that it took place at all? So now in this point of the video, I want to take a look at the pros and the cons of Naturium as a brand to help you guys as a consumer work out whether it's one that you want to invest your hard-earned coin in. I'm always about the positivity here on Mad About Skin, so I start with the pros first. Let's talk the aesthetics. Honestly, right from day one, the packaging was divine, the look of the website was amazing, super easy to navigate, and I think the overall way launch aside that the brand presented itself made you want to buy into it. Also, a lot of their serums come with pumps as standard, which is something you're seeing an awful lot more of now, but consumers are increasingly demanding the pump applicator on their products. I think it's for ease of use, hygiene, all of that goes into it, and Naturium launched with pumps as standard, which I think was at the time relatively unique and caught a lot of people's eyes. The whole look of the brand makes you want to reach in for it, so I think this is why maybe they were able to get past that failed and really shady launch a lot quicker than other brands will be able to, because the website and the way that the brand looks in shops and physical locations kind of does draw the eye. Also, the price point. Often when we'll see content creator skincare lines or celebrity skincare lines come out, they come with a ridiculously high price point to really capitalize on the popularity of the individual. Naturium never did that. The average price of one of their formulations is between $20 and $25, which whilst that's not super drugstore and affordable, I think when you think you're getting multiple actives in each formulation is a relatively reasonable price point, and I've never had an issue with the price. The launch, yes, the price, no. And again, I think with more affordable brands, particularly in physical locations, this is why a lot of the time you can look past, or people find it easier to look past some of the things that have gone on to reach for them, because that price point kind of says, well, I might as well try it because it's not the most ridiculously overpriced of the celebrity and skinfluencer endorsed brands. Also, some of the formulations are just really good, and I think this is a reason why this brand, more so than some others, have been able to kind of turn the tables on that failed launch and regain credibility, at least in some people's eyes, a little bit quicker. Lots of people have tried the products and said to friends and family, honestly, these are really good. I've got some great results from them, which is why I think a lot of people are willing to try them, even if they do know about that launch scandal at the start. You'll see throughout these, the body washes particularly are well received. I think they have 7 or 8 body washes for each different skin concern. People have been saying, you know what, the quantity of product that you get for the price point is amazing, and you genuinely get some really good outcomes from it in a way that we don't often get from other shower gels and body washes. The same goes for the tranexamic acid brightening serum, which people have been singing the praises of, and again, the quality of the formulation is definitely there with this product, but people have been saying, you know what, I got results from this in a way that I didn't from other tranexamic acid based treatments, which is why I think a lot of people are willing to suspend their thoughts and feelings on that launch and give a product like this a go, because people are fangirling about it so freely without paid endorsements and sponsorships. So those are definitely the pros of reaching for Naturium. There are some cons that I want to come on to. Obviously, we've talked launch, so we can park that one, and you guys obviously will make your own opinions up when it comes to that. But there are some other things that I think are of detriment to the brand. Let's start just the volume of products. I'm all in favour of consumer choice, but I think there is just so many different products to choose from. I think they have 10 different moisturisers. They have the aforementioned 8 body washes. They have 20 different serums. There's just a baffling array, and I think that can kind of turn some people off. We all look for simplicity, and you go there and you have to choose between 10 moisturizers, and it's not that clear who each and every one of them is kind of targeted at, which is why I think that might turn a couple of people off the brand. I'm not against choice, but I think when you just have too much choice, it can become a negative. Also, the shipping. For the first 2 years, they actually only shipped to the US. I don't even think they shipped to Canada, which often has similar regulatory environments and is a little bit easier to ship to from a US location. They eventually broadened out to Australia, I believe, but beyond that, they haven't really done a whole lot of expansion. That's until now, when they will become available in the UK and Europe in the next couple of months, which is kind of why I wanted to film this video today. I think, I would have expected the shipping to kind of roll out a little bit quicker than that, but maybe there were other logistic reasons for that in terms of stock volumes. Maybe they wanted to really nail down sales in the North American market before then expanding. I don't know. I'm not part of the brand. I don't have that information, but I think that was definitely a con when people wanted to try the products, but then weren't able to. Finally, let's call out the fact they don't have a sunscreen. I don't mind brands not launching with a sunscreen because honestly, a lot of research, a coin has to go into formulating them. But I think by the 2-year point, I would have expected a sunscreen, particularly when Susan Yara always says she won't be without her sunscreen. It's like her #1 defense against the melasma that she suffers with. Why then do we not have a sunscreen in this collection? I would have thought by like year 2 that probably would at least be in formulation, but we haven't heard anything about it. So that to me, I think is a little bit of a disappointment, which means, if you do want to shop Naturium, make sure you have a good broad spectrum sunscreen. In fact, I'll leave a link to a video with my favorites up there. Buy one of those before you buy anything from Naturium, because the sunscreen is kind of the true non-negotiable. So what are my thoughts and feelings? Well, I think when it comes to this brand, I think it's a case of what would have been. Already it is one of the fastest growing skincare brands on the planet, but what would have been if it wasn't for that shady and totally unnecessary launch? If things had been done right from the start, I think we'd be in a very different position now. Of course, we can never know the unknown, but I think, a lot of the time, this is a brand that's had to fight through past that launch, hope that either people forget or they've never heard about it. They have to rely a lot on word of mouth. They can't use influencers to promote their products or sponsorship because that often has a negative pushback. I think this is a shame because, some of the formulations are really good, but, for a lot of people like myself that were there from the start, the main reason for not reaching for something is because of that launch. And whilst I have tried products, I was wanting to give them a second chance, try the products. Always in the back of my mind was that launch, which is why ultimately I decided to stop buying from the brand itself. And I think this is always going to be a case of what could have been if it was just done right from the start. I would love to know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions when it comes to Naturium. I think ultimately they've got another good few decades in them as a brand because, unlike a lot of other influencers skincare brands, Susan Yara isn't in the name front and center. So you can absolutely walk into a Sephora, see the Naturium brand, not automatically associate it with Susan Yara. So I think the brand will have a lifespan beyond that of the content creator, which is relatively rare, and I think that was definitely a clever marketing decision when they set up this brand. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions below, and wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.